Now, the good news is this week, this Sunday, we're back at church in person on our site. And I really hope that you can join us. One of the realities is, of course, COVID-19 is still an ongoing pandemic. And we are going to have to do things as we meet together to make sure that we're safe and the people who come to our site are safe. So this video is just an attempt to show you around the site, give you a bit of a feel for the things that you'll need to do when you join us. Now, whether your car trip has been long or pretty short, when you get here and you park the car, let me walk you through some of the things that you'll come across. As you come to St Stephen's this weekend, what you'll find is there's a lot more signage, stuff that you probably haven't seen before. Most of it is just assuring you that we're trying to keep COVID safe around here, and there's also going to be a few signs to show you the way. If you're lost, generally the best tip is to look down, because there's probably an arrow somewhere that's telling you what to do. And so as you come in, you'll see there's arrows all the way down the pathway. In fact, Rob has just been putting those arrows down for us.
Found hope and the fullness of life. Let go of limitations. It's now lost. Everything that will fade and all we want lasts for all time.
When we come to the church, we're going to enter through the east building, east portico entrance, which is behind me. And as you'll see, there's signage all over the place reminding us to keep 1.5 metres away. If it's raining on Sunday, I encourage you to stay under cover, of course, but just keep a safe distance from those around you. We're going to go in. I'm going to show you some of the things that we're going to have to do as we come to the building. As I mentioned, we're coming in through the east part of the building. As you come in here, there's going to be two people seated at these desks. One person is going to mark off the roll for those people who are regulars. If you're a new person or you're visiting or you're bringing a visitor with you, which is even better, they're just going to have to give us their details for the day and let us know whether they're happy for us to contact them in the future about things at St Stephen's. This is part of the COVID safe rules that the government has required of every premises which has a gathering. So come in, get your name marked off, use some of the hand sanitizer, and then keep following the arrows down to the aisle where an usher will show you where to go. So you come straight down and then walk down the aisle to the front and find a pew where there's an empty spot with a green tick on it. Those are the seats that we can sit in to ensure that we have the adequate amount of spacing and the right number of people in the building. Now, of course, if you've come as a household, you don't need to maintain the 1.5 metre spacing, but just be aware of the other people who might already be in the pew and how close you'll be sitting. What you'll see is that some pews have a red cross and other pews have green ticks on them. Self-evidently, the red crosses are the ones that we're not meant to sit in, but the pews with green ticks are the pews that we should sit in. So find a pew that suits you, that's empty and has some green ticks, and settle in for a great service. During the service, we're going to have some kids' items and a kids' spot. And so we want to encourage kids to come into the building with their families and be part of that part of the service. When it's time to leave, Ben or the service leader will let you know, and you can send your kids directly out from the pews to Ben at the back of the building and off to the children's program, which will be in the Hainsworth Hall. Now, if your child is uncertain about going to the program by themselves, you're of course welcome to accompany them across to the program, but we do encourage adults to simply drop their child off and then head straight back and find their seat in the building again. If you do need to leave the pew at any point in time, just be aware of others as you exit the pew and maintain adequate social distancing. The service should hopefully be a really encouraging time. I do want to remind everyone, unfortunately at this point in time, we're not allowed to sing, but we will have music, we will have moments of great worship, and we'll have chances as a community, as a congregation, to declare and remind each other of the things we believe. So do join in those and enjoy that. But when songs are sung by someone at the front, for the rest of us, we'll just have to take the opportunity to enjoy the music and reflect on the words and the truths which it conveys. At the end of the service leader will wrap the service up and then send us off to morning tea. I do want to encourage us not to dwell in this building, but to leave immediately. This gives an opportunity for those who have to clean for the next service, if you're aware, an 8 a.m. service and there's a 9:30 following, to clean the building. And it also means that we can more easily maintain social distancing. We will be having morning tea in the chapel hall. So after the service, you leave your pew, follow the arrows, and head off to morning tea.
And we say let it out, turn away from our past and find a life of breaking out. All we are is alive in God. And we say let it out, turn away from our past and
To get to the chapel hall, you simply cross the courtyard straight across. Again, as I said, if you're ever in doubt, just look down. There's arrows all over the place, which will give you a good sense of where you should be going. And we'll also have a number of ushers around, so feel free to ask them. As you go into the chapel hall, again, you'll need to disinfect your hands using hand sanitizer, keep the 1.5 metre gap, and then line up for morning tea. There will be coffee and tea and pre-packaged morning tea for each person who would like it to take. And then do stick around. There's different spaces which allow you different options to either sit or stand and catch up with the people you may not have seen for a few months. In this part of the chapel hall, there will be crosses on the floor, which will give you a bit of a sense of the kind of distance that you need to maintain between yourself and other people as you share morning tea and chat with them and catch up on the various things that have been happening in your life and reflect on the good news that we've just heard at church. For those of you who would like a seat, the main part of the chapel hall will have seats set out, adequately distanced. We ask you not to move those seats, but just to find a seat, sit down and enjoy a cup of tea or coffee and catch up with some of our church family. We really hope that you can be here. It's going to be a great weekend to meet back together. We don't want to take it for granted. The reality is that our brothers and sisters in Melbourne don't get this opportunity at this point in time. We want to really take the opportunity, but treat it with the kind of responsibility that we've been given. I want to encourage you to be vigilant about the 1.5 metre gap, to maintain appropriate social distancing, but to really rejoice and revel in the opportunity to meet together as God's people. See you on Sunday.